The pilot on the carrier picked up a rugby ball and placed it on the fighter's takeoff catapult, then immediately signaled the operator to quickly reset the catapult. Then the operator pressed the switch. The catapult instantly accelerated to 340 kilometers per hour. The huge impact slammed the rugby ball into the sky. Immediately after that, a warplane immediately pulled into the runway, and under the command of the ground crew, the Hornet ejected from the runway and flew to the ceasefire zone to carry out an aerial photography mission. At this time, the Bosnian War had just reached a ceasefire agreement, and the warplane only needed to follow the predetermined flight path to carry out aerial photography, and then it would be able to successfully complete this mission. However, not far from the plane, radar suddenly showed that there were abnormalities in the ceasefire zone. According to the ceasefire agreement, NATO warplanes are prohibited from flying into the ceasefire zone, but the pilot ignored the pilot's warnings and insisted on turning around and flying over to conduct reconnaissance. And then the pilot turned on the digital camera and then activated the afterburner to accelerate. Soon flew over the ceasefire zone and indeed found a group of armed men carrying a large number of heavy weapons hiding in the forest. The U.S. warplane's low-altitude reconnaissance behavior thoroughly angered the armed men below. Immediately reported the situation to the leader. The armed leader learned that the NATO violated the agreement, privately reconnaissance in the ceasefire zone, so immediately ordered his men to launch SAM missiles to intercept the U.S. Army's Hornet. At the same time, the fighter jet also monitored a missile incoming. The pilot immediately operated the fighter jet vertical pull-up and then quickly flew to the right, but still cannot get rid of the lock of the SAM missiles. Seeing that it is about to be hit, the Hornet immediately released a jamming bomb, but still did not succeed in detonating the SAM missile. The U.S. warplane can only continue to change the direction of flight, trying to get rid of it, but the armed men below launched another missile. In the face of the two SAM missiles in pursuit, the warplane can only be 90 degrees of vertical pull-up, but this is still not able to get rid of the missile tracking. The pilot made an immediate decision, immediately discarded the sub-tank, using the shockwave generated by the explosion, successfully detonated a SAM missile, but the next second, another missile suddenly flew from directly in front of the fighter. The fighter was too late to avoid. The missile from the tail of the aircraft rubbed through, resulting in a short circuit of the line of transmission flight control. The fighter instantly lost control of the aircraft, unable to change the direction of flight, and was eventually hit by the turning back of the SAM missiles.